Okay, it's time for another Affinity photo tutorial, and today we're going to be creating a thumbnail. One of my subscribers asked me if I would do a tutorial on thumbnails and wasn't sure if I was really going to do it because thumbnails are very specific to the type of content that you're providing, whether it's a service or a product or whatever. So the important thing is that you want the elements in your thumbnail to reflect as clearly as possible what you're trying to sell. So we're going to create this right here, and this could be a thumbnail for a way to make some extra money. Okay, so we're going to recreate this right here. Let's start from scratch. We'll go to File and New, and we'll create a 1920 by 1080 document because that's the size of a YouTube thumbnail is 16 by 9. And we'll put in a blank pixel layer. Let's go ahead and fill that with black so we have a background. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to place our main element, which will be our man with the holding the money. So go to File, Place, and here I found this picture on the internet of this guy holding some money fanned out, and we're just going to put him right over here on the right-hand side of the thumbnail because we want to leave room for text. We don't want to make them too big because we have some background elements also. So once we have it where we want it, we're going to go ahead and rasterize and trim that layer. And now what we need to do is separate him from the background because we just want to look like a clean plate of him. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the selection brush here and I'm going to go ahead and select him, and I'm just going to speed this up for the sake of the tutorial. Okay, once we have him selected, what we're going to do is we need to mask him out. So if we hold down the Command key and click on the mask button here, it will mask him out completely, and then we can go ahead and deselect him. So now what we need to do is we're going to start separating him from the background. Some people use gradient masks and actually draw around the character, and if you're using a mouse, that's really hard. If you have a tablet and a pen, it's a little bit easier. I'm working with a mouse, so I'm going to do this a little bit differently. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a blank pixel layer, and I'm going to put it below our masked out man. I'm going to Command and click on him to select him, and then I'm going to come to Select, and then I'm going to go to Grow and Shrink, and I'm going to shrink the selection by negative 1.5 pixels and apply that. So all that does is kind of draw it in just a little bit there. And then I'm going to put in the color of what I want the glow on him to be. So I'm going to come over here to the color swatch, and we're going to go with a yellow, kind of a bright yellow. And I'm going to get the fill tool, and I'm going to fill that selection. So if we look up here in our layer stack, we can see that we have a deselect right now, and I'm just going to turn him off for a second, and you can see that we've got a yellow selection there. So now to create our glow, we're just going to take this layer and put some layer effects on it. So the first thing we'll do is come to Outline, and we will pick a nice bright yellow, and we'll bring the radius up a little bit on that just so we can start to see it. And I'm going to go with center on that. It's a little subtler, not too much. And then I'm going to come to Outer Glow and kind of do the same thing. I'm just going to come up there and grab a nice bright yellow and then increase the radius on that. And so now we've got our glow on him, and what's nice about this is we can always come back and adjust this anytime we want. It's a little less convoluted than using a gradient map. So now if we wanted to come back to the outline and bring the radius down a little bit so there's not so much of a harsh line there. If we needed to change the color, we could do that. So now we've got him taken care of right there. So now let's bring in our other background element. He's making a lot of money, so we want more money. So let's go to File, Place, and I've got picture of a stack of gold coins here. I'm going to go ahead and open that up, and we'll just drag it out. And right now it's on top, so we can kind of move it around. I'm going to lower the opacity just a little bit because I want to make sure that it's not overpowering him. And that looks pretty good right where it's at. So I'm going to bring the opacity back up. What we're going to do here is we're going to do the same method that we did to him. We are going to mask this out. So real quickly we'll grab the selection brush here and make it a little bit bigger. And again, for the sake of the tutorial, I'm going to speed this up. Okay, for us that's going to be pretty good right there. I don't think we really need to mess with that much further. And we're going to do the same thing that we did with him. We're going to hold down Command and make sure that we have that layer selected. Actually, we need to rasterize and trim it first, I'm sorry. And then we will go ahead and Command and hit that. So we've got it masked out, and deselect the whole thing. And we're just going to drag this down, this whole layer with the mask, down below the glow behind him. So we've got him, we've got the glow behind him, we've got the stack of cash there. You can see over here we've got to kind of cut off, so we can come in here and resize this a little bit. Kind of drag this down and drag it out a little bit so we can see a little bit more money that way. We could drag it up over his head a little bit so we can see some coins there. That's good right there. And so now what we want to do is we also want to create a little bit of glow around the money, so we can come down below that, add another empty pixel layer. We've already got our yellow selected there. We're going to grab our brush tool. We're going to make sure that our hardness is set to 0, and I'm going to reduce the flow a little bit on this and just bring the size of the brush up quite a bit. And maybe bring the flow up just a little bit more. That's looking pretty good right there. So we're just going to just pop it in here, and we can play with the size of the brush a little bit. We're just trying to accentuate the coins. And again, over here I kind of messed up the coins a little bit. So again, I'm going to grab that layer, zoom out a little bit, and drag that down like that. Okay, so now we have our coins, we have our guy, we've got our glow. Now with the lighting like this, you would think there'd be a little bit of spill on him as well. And that's a real easy fix. So we'll come to the uppermost layer, which is him. We'll add a blank pixel layer there. And we're going to change the blending mode of this pixel layer to color dodge. And then again, we're just going to grab our brush with that yellow color. And you can see like now it's really big and it's affecting a bunch of the picture, but we really don't care about that because we're going to use his mask in just a little while here to clean it up. So I'm going to bring the flow down just a little bit on that, like that. And let's see, he'd have a little bit of spill here on his side of his face. He might have a little bit up here in his hair, maybe on his jacket, on his shoulders, on his cheeks a little bit, knuckles. And you're saying, okay, that looks terrible like that. But all we need to do now is select the mask on his layer and option click it and just drag it right onto this pixel layer. And that constrains it to him. And then once we've got it there, we can take the opacity down a little bit if it's a little too aggressive. Again, we just want to create a little bit of a glow on him. And then really all that's left to do at this point is put in the text that you want that is going to convey your message. So real quickly we'll go here, change this to white so we can see it, and how to make money. And we'll go ahead and scale that down a little bit so it fits in there. We'll change the font to something a little more fun, like this Bada Boom. We can actually size that up and spread it out a little bit more. If you ever want to spread out your text, all you need to do is hold down the Option key and the right arrow key, and that opens it up some. And now we can just go ahead and stylize this text. So we'll come in here to Layer Effects. First thing we'll do is we'll give it a gradient overlay. And since it's money, let's go with greens. So we'll start off with a light green for the top, and then a slightly darker green for the bottom. Maybe like that. And then we'll just change the angle to this. And then we'll give it an outline. And again, with the outline, maybe we can go with like a really kind of a brighter green. Bring the radius up on that. And that's kind of making it a little hard to see. So what we can do is add an inner shadow to that to separate. The offset over just a little bit, intensity. So now we're starting to get a little more depth to our text. And that's not looking too bad right there. We can go ahead and drop that down, back, and below the rear glow if we want to. So it kind of gets in behind everything. And then, you know, we put another little slogan over here. We can just option click this text here, bring it down here. And the reason I'm doing the words separately is if I did them, if I just skip down, the gradient would skip as well. So we want to keep the gradient the way it is now. So we'll add to this. We'll put the easy, and then we'll option click one more time, drag this down here, way, exclamation point, and we'll drag that out a little bit to make it a little bit bigger. And again, this was a very simple way of doing this. You know, again, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make my elements pop off the background, use elements that are conducive to conveying your message, and then a little bit of contrast on the text, whatever your taste is. So if you learned anything from that, please give me a like or think about subscribing to my channel. And until next time, peace. Talk to you later. Bye.